Hi, everyone.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Carol.
And we are my
Outlander.
Purgatory. What's up, everyone? So, episode 2 of Outlander, the TV series on Starz. It's a little windy in here, sorry. Is in the books. And so we're going to break it down, Carol. Is that right?
I am so sick of that term. Break it down. So-and-so breaks it down.
We're going to, what are we going to do then? We're going to relive it.
We're going to recap.
We're going to chat about it.
We're going to discuss. Let's get to it.
Well, let's introduce our beers first. Mine is a Hellraiser craft beer out of New Jersey, somewhere in New Jersey, and it's awesome.
This is, I don't even know what it is. Someone left it at my house. Twisted tea, hard iced tea.
Oh.
True beer drinkers are laughing at this, but whatever.
Now, I felt like, we were like, last time, for number 1, we didn't really, do any sort of, beverage. And then this time, I was like, I feel like an ale, To sort of, get into the mood with an ale.
Yes.
Okay. So, episode 2. So, Carol, general thoughts?
Loved. I mean, was in the middle of it and watching it and thinking, holy crap, I love this so much. I don't know what to do with myself. And then Tracy texts me and goes, oh my God, I love this so much.
I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, honestly, it's totally paralleling the book. Although, oh my God, I was going to say, I think I liked this episode, and the telling of this part almost better than the book. Because the book, and this isn't really a spoiler for people who haven't read the book, we always say the first 50 pages of the book, which is basically what you saw last week, you gotta push through. You gotta push through. It's not an easy read. It's not a very exciting read. You're kind of like, really? Every friend I have and every person I've ever met in my life said that, if I don't read this, my life is ruined. Really? So it takes a while to get into it. And now this part is very interesting and you're learning a lot and stuff, but it's still kind of okay, where's this going? But I think in the show, for me...
Kind of like this video.
We'll talk then!
Well, I don't think... let's just get to it. Let's just talk about the show. Okay. Let's just talk about the actual episode, not the show.
Okay. So episode 2 opens pretty much where we leave off episode 1. Is this what you want? No, they want our flavor here. Okay. So episode 2 pretty much leaves off where episode 1, or starts up where episode 1 left off. So they're back to Leok. And I guess the first interesting thing is the appearance of Mrs. Fitzgibbons. Carol, thoughts?
She's a feisty way bitch.
I like Mrs. Fitzgibbons. I like the actress. It was exactly how I saw her in my head.
Yeah.
I
think I posted the other day, after seeing one of the clips, I love that already Claire is just getting there. She's barely down off the wagon, and already people are looking at her like, what is her story? Mrs. Fitz thinks she's a big old witch right about now. You know what I like? Mrs. Fitz, who's ruling the roost. I know we talked about, who was it Mrs. Baird that was Mrs. Doubtfire last week?
Yes.
She's Mrs. Doubtfire in the way...
Wait, I have to interrupt you for just 1 minute.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
I know.
It's funny because when we made that video, I guess it was Sunday. We try to do it every Sunday. When I cut the video, it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
I almost put something in the video, as we were talking about Mrs. Doubtfire. Robin Williams... Here's a whole lot of laughs. We watched Dead Poets Society last night. It was awesome. Cheers, my friend, and may you find peace.
And all of the films he's done, and what is the film that I just keep going back to is Mrs. Doubtfire, because I loved he was just so fantastic in that.
I know.
And last week I was talking about, but I run a much tighter ship. Well, that's how I'm seeing Mrs. Fitz in this, that she rules the roost. These men are probably a little afraid of Mrs. Fitz, and yet Mrs. Fitz is a little afraid of Claire.
She's totally afraid. Well, I don't know that she's afraid of Claire.
She's freaked out by her. She thinks that Claire can go and pick up a toad and do some funky stuff and make her disappear.
Probably.
So she's going to do whatever Claire. If Claire's okay, come on, let's go do it.
But don't you think there's a little respect too on her part?
I think I'm seeing a little bit more of she feels bad for Claire because she gets that Claire's all alone, English, and, with all these people who don't like her, don't trust her. So I think that she's sort of being motherly with Claire in a way.
I just at the very beginning when she's like, okay, what's up with her?
Yeah.
And then Claire was like, no, I have to dress this wound because it's, inflamed or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's still you can see in Mrs. Fitz's head, it's fighting between okay, what's up with her? And yeah, she's right. She kind of knows what she's talking about.
Right.
Okay? Uh-huh. And then this wins out, and it's okay, yeah, Jamie, go with her.
Right.
But I like Mrs. Fitz, and again, she's just exactly what I pictured.
She's great.
She's great. So okay, and I love how she loves all her boys. She loves all her boys. She loves her Rupert, and she loves her Angus, and she just loves all her boys.
I have a confession.
What?
I still am having problems telling who is who.
Yeah, me too. Well,
who is the one who is following her?
Rupert.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yes.
Rupert.
Rupert's
I'm not having as much. I don't think we saw him. Maybe we saw Murtaugh a little bit, but if we did, I think we saw him in the dining room, when they were,
If we saw Murtaugh, we didn't know it. Here's the thing.
He had any lines,
it is amazing how much I am realizing that I have forgotten.
I know.
And here I am. How many years has it been? 5 since I read Outlander? Imagine the people who've read Outlander 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So
I read it 4 times and I'm forgetting stuff.
I was just going to say, I'm not a huge rereader. I read Outlander twice and listened to it once. Mm-hmm. So, and I still have so much stuff that I forget. But anyway, because then I'm going, did he follow her in the book? Can't remember that. Was it Angus who beat up Jamie?
Yes.
Again, I was like, and if that scene wasn't Game of Thrones times 10.
All right, well, we're skipping way ahead. We're skipping way ahead here. We're skipping way ahead.
Look, the thing I didn't remember. Some of these people watching are just as ADD as I am.
Wait,
I skip.
Here, was the whole story of the Tinker, there's a Tinker who goes to the Inverness once a month and we'll get you a ride. Was that part of the book?
I don't remember ever hearing she was getting out of there.
And that's not really a spoiler.
And if she was, I don't remember it being so. It's this Friday. You know what I mean? I remember if she was, it was maybe we can see, but I don't even remember that. Right. I don't remember her ever having any way out other than escape.
Yes, totally agree. Because I remember them being way more cagey about oh, well, you can just stay here for a while, whatever. Okay, anyway, so Mrs. Fitz is yeah, go, Jamie, go with Claire, go with, witchy lady, and we'll dress your wound.
And the audience is
okay, from that point till the point where Mrs. Fitz is waking Claire up in her bed, perfection. Done. I can end this video right here. That's all I need to say. Effing faction.
Is that okay?
Every note spot on. Spot on.
I keep getting distracted by ridiculous things, her in that dress still. I'm how come nobody's inspecting the fabric or looking at her shoes or you know what I mean? It's
I don't know what shoes she's wearing.
You just have to suspend disbelief. I don't even think I ever thought about this stuff in the book, but it's so visual. Now that you're seeing it, you're wait. But they all think it's her shift. That's what's so funny. All right.
It sort of looks like a shift, I guess.
I guess.
Her into gray.
I don't know. All right. So.
But the whole, she's dressing his wound, and then she sees the back. Thoughts on the back?
I didn't find him to be at all. Wasn't he in the book a little apprehensive about her seeing his back? I thought he was. Not no, don't look, but just he was uncomfortable about it. I didn't get any uncomfortableness from him in the show whatsoever.
I don't think, clearly he, had his shirt off because she's taking care of him, whatever. And I think he was just he kind of knew she saw, she stiffened or something.
Right.
And so he knew she had seen it and he sort of tried to make it a little more like, make her not feel so bad, I guess, or like not, whatever. But was that kind of what you like pictured in terms of?
Yeah, I just thought that he seemed very not that he was like, yay, look at the scars on my back, but just that he was not at all shy about having her see his back. It was like
just the back itself. I was like, whoa.
That back was worse than I pictured it.
It was worse. I think it was worse than I pictured it too. I think it was. I just like part of me's like, oh my God, how much time does he have to spend in the makeup chair for that?
2 hours.
Then I wonder if I were them, I wonder if they have like a stand-in guy, a stand-in back, so that they like make up somebody else's back, so they don't have to waste time making up Sam's back and shoot that. Sorry,
yeah,
that's just what I'm thinking.
They might do that. They might even have
like a back.
They might have a non-human back. Remember last week?
Oh my God, that's the best idea.
What?
They totally should do that. They totally should just make a back that they can shoot, because I mean, like, why are you going to want Sam to like spend 3 hours in a makeup chair when you could just have the stunt back and shoot it like that?
Well, and that was the thing, was that I don't remember if it was on My Outlander Purgatory blog or on our Facebook page the other day. People were discussing how he has to sit there for 2 hours and somebody's job is to rub like oil or lotion on his back. It rubs the lotion on the skin.
Or else it gets the hose again.
And everybody's like volunteering. I'll have that job.
But yeah, the back was great. The whole flashing back to like Jenny and like the shot that we've seen at the beginning of time with like pitch and hay, like
yeah.
Okay, we have to talk about Tobias and just how like Joffrey who.
Scary as shit he is.
He's better than Joffrey, because Joffrey...
Let me tell you what freaked me out the most about him, because I've been wondering forever, when we finally see this on screen, what's going to do it for me with Black Jack Randall? The thing that freaked me out the most was like, when he said, pick up his head, he might as well have been saying, it's me a sandwich. He had nothing. He just said, pick up his head. Like, I was like, mortified.
I know. No, I liked that his whole, like, he wasn't like, he was really calm, and like, the calmer he is, the scarier he is.
He's really calm. Like, he's saying, go do whatever. Like, nothing. He's such a sociopath. It's
oh
not.
My God, totally.
Yeah.
That whole scene was just so great. The flogging, oh my God. I was a little surprised. Now, I wonder how they did that, too. Like,
Jamie was awesome, wasn't he?
Oh, totally.
He was like, thank you, sir, may I have another?
Oh my God.
I can stay here as long as you can, you freak.
What?
I said he was like, I can stay here as long as you can, you freak. Hey, you missed a spot.
No, he was awesome, but yeah, I was a little surprised. Like, I don't know. I thought that, I mean, clearly, like, after about 100 of those whacks, it's not good. I mean, it wasn't quite as gross as I thought it was going to be, the whacking, because I really thought it was going to, like, split the skin open. Like,
I was more grossed out by poor Jamie having to look at his sister.
I know. Oh, my God.
Although she probably didn't care, Miss Junk Grabber.
The whole scene was just so great. It was just so great. It was so, and when he's like, don't go with him, Jenny. Even if he slits my throat.
Yeah.
It was like, it was so great. It was so great. All right. And so, all right. Any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No.
Well, we have to get, all right. So the flashback is done. And then the whole, like, Claire and, like, my husband, he's...
Oh, God, I felt awful.
That moment, again, all I can say is perfection.
I didn't see the emotion. I need to word this properly. It's not like Dinah Gabaldon isn't descriptive enough. But I saw her in a different light. Again, it's just the show is visual, so you just see it. Mm-hmm. Christy, we're always talking about our visions of people, and Christy always says she doesn't. Christy is a friend who comes to Mop Chat a lot on Monday nights at 9:00 Eastern. Um, Christy's always saying she doesn't have a Jamie in her head. She doesn't see it. Well, that's kind of how I'm starting to feel with Claire or with the show. Even though I had things in my mind from reading, once I see Claire lose it like that, like I didn't really see her as so human. I don't know what the word would be. She really, Claire, Kate just brings out like such emotion that crying just got to me. It really did. I just didn't expect to feel that way for Claire. I think I just always saw her as such a tough cookie that, you know, so it was nice to see.
I mean, it was understandable. Like, you really saw how, like, she's really kept it together. She really kept it together this whole time. It's been, like, 2 or 3 days, whatever. And then she just feels already comfortable enough with him.
Right.
To just kind of lose it a little bit.
Right.
And that whole moment was really well done, I thought. Yeah.
There's stuff going on where we know what's going on, but people who haven't read the books might not be 100%.
Well, no, I mean, if you've read the book up to that point, it's not really that different. Like,
didn't she feel his manhood?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
and they did sort of do that where he was like, sorry or whatever, and you know what I mean?
She pulled away because they had that look. They looked at each other. And
then he says to her, you need not be afraid of me.
Right.
So it's sort of there, but it wasn't like pronounced or obnoxious.
Right.
I felt that way about another scene, but until you get to that. Nothing huge or anything, but.
And we'll try not to do book spoilers, and we'll mark it if we do, but I don't think we've really done any yet, so I'm not going to mark it because it's a real pain to do it.
Wait. What do you mean no book spoilers?
No. Oh. We tried not to do book spoilers, and we will
this episode.
Say what?
Past this.
Right. I mean, but I think if like something was completely different in the book, we would, like that's what we did last week.
Yes, Tracy puts her starbursts.
I know, but like
it was so
did
cute.
Like a million
Tracy,
of them.
You totally like lifted that from The More You Know. You have to do one right now.
No. I totally like, do. No, I lifted it from like, it was the best thing on iMovie. So there you go.
At least you're on.
All right, moving on. So, Claire gets woken up in the morning by Mrs. Fitzgibbons. She's like, come on.
Tell me I don't want that bed.
I know, right?
Tom, I was watching with my husband Tom, and I turned to Tom and I go, oh, how much would I love that bed?
I know.
Because you've slept at my house before. You know how I make the bedrooms crypts, like with the room darkening shades, and that bed, there was not one bit of light. I could sleep till 3.
Let me interject that the whole lighting thing, like clearly, you know this for a fact because I don't know how many of you have been listening to Ron Moore's podcast, which you can find on the Starz website. I highly recommend it. I'm not quite through the first one yet because I've been listening to it like when I'm getting ready for work and driving to work and whatever. It's basically him drinking some whiskey and watching the show and talking about it. And it's so informative and good. And so you have to watch it or listen to it. You can watch the show and put it on at the same time, and it's like having the DVD commentary. It's awesome. And I think he's going to do it for all of them. It was a little weird for him to be talking about the downtown scene. It was kind of like my dad talking about and it was a little like, okay.
Pair Ron Moore.
Which is a little disturbing because I don't know how old he is, but I might be older than him. So it's not really like my dad, but like, sort of. I don't know how old he is. That's a good question. Anywho. Okay, so yes, watch that or listen to that commentary. It's awesome. But anyway, just the whole lighting of the show in general. What he said was there are all these scenes that look like, wow, it looks like they're lighting it by nothing more than candlelight. They are lighting it by nothing more than candlelight.
Right.
Which, I mean, like, really difficult to do. He said because they can do it because they shoot digitally. It's not like, film. They shoot it on, digital video. So I guess the lighting is a little easier that way, but no, the lighting is just so effective, and it really I've wondered that as I was reading the books, like, my God, how do they like see to write a letter at night, like I mean, it's like their lighting is like when our electricity goes out and you have like a candle and a flashlight. But that's like normal for them.
Well,
know?
I like it because it's not too dark. It's well lit. There certain shows bother me if they're dark. Like there was I think it was CSI New York. Is that even still on?
I think so.
It drove me insane. Like, not that I really watched it that much, but it was too dark. And it drove me insane. I couldn't watch. I was like, ugh. It's sort of like when you sit down at the dinner table and it's too dark and you need to turn a little more light on or turn the lights up or something. That's how I am with watching these shows. And if it was too dark, it would bug me. It's not at all. It's perfectly lit.
So anyway, I loved Mrs. Fitz getting Claire dressed. And just like, it was so great to see, like, deconstruct what they have to wear. Like, I found that fascinating.
I'm looking, I think I might have had something about that.
Oh,
the only thing that I noticed about that was I turned to Tom and I go, ooh, she just changed her. She didn't, like, bathe. Tom was none of them bathe.
Well, she's probably putting on clothes that have been worn, like, eons of times.
But, like, can you imagine just taking off your disgusting clothes and just putting some more on?
I know. But it was very cool to see just, like that little thing that they put around their waist that has, like, all foamy and stuff. Like,
the donut. Well,
like a donut.
I turned to Tom and I said, oh, my God, I love seeing it because Dinah Gabaldon is so descriptive. She explains some of this stuff.
But you don't really know what it is.
But I said, I wish they would run text across the bottom of the screen, like with her book, telling you, now this is the corset, and right? You know what I mean?
Well, I hope, here's a little, well, I'm sure Ron Moore will have already has his, like, commentary done at this point. But it would be really cool to, like, bring his wife in to talk through that, like, dressing up.
Yeah.
Because clearly, it's all her stuff anyway. So I hope he does that. Haven't listened to it. But yeah, hope so. So that was very cool. So Claire goes into Column's study, figures out where she is or when she is.
Snoops around a little.
Snoops around, Then we meet Colin Mackenzie. Colin Mackenzie.
Can I tell you that I have that written down too? Because all I could think of was, I am Colin Mackenzie of the Clan Mackenzie.
Of the Clan Mackenzie. And she's like, really? I thought you were Colin Mackenzie of the Clan, Brown.
I just couldn't help hearing Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod in Highlander.
Never saw it. I love when they say I've never seen stuff. And you're like, never saw it. Never saw Braveheart either. Yeah, okay. Moving on.
All right, first of all, I'll tell you right now, the Scots laugh at Braveheart. At least Tom's cousins do. Wait. You've never seen Braveheart?
I've never seen Braveheart.
You've never seen Highlander?
Nope, never seen Highlander.
And the third one that kills me every day of my life is that you won't watch Monarch of the Glen. I mean, what? Tom and I are going to rewatch all 7 seasons.
I tried. I really tried.
What kind of a Scott lover are you if you aren't watching these shows?
I still am like 2 episodes behind this season's True Blood. I mean, that's my life. My life is that I don't have time to watch TV.
No, I'm sorry. I don't accept that. Because if you wanted to watch these things, you would have watched them by now. If you watch all of them,
Okay, yeah. I need more TV in my life. Okay,
I might have to lie down.
Moving on. So all right, so what did you think of, like, his legs and stuff? Like, that's something that's, like, really
CGI.
I mean, it's CGI. I think that, like, you kind of picture him a little smaller or, like, stunted growth-wise, but it looks great. I mean, whatever CGI they're doing looks really good.
Fantastic.
It looks really good. No, it was.
I love how Claire breaks out into her. I had already figured out that he's.
diagnosed him as having Toulouse.
Love it. No, I didn't know what to picture. when I was reading the books with Colum, I just never really knew, except for I think I joked about an episode of King of the Hill where they said some guy was at war and he woke up and they were sewing his feet to his knees, so he was like this big. That was the only thing I could ever, like, I couldn't picture it, so I just thought it was absolutely fantastic and realistic looking.
Yeah, no, it looked really good. It looked very good. Good CGI. CGI guy, nice. So, all right, so they talk, and Colum's like, yeah, the Tinker will be here, like, next week, and, you know, they're kind of like, they're playing a little verbal chess. Claire socks him. Hello, Claire, and her, like, what, I don't remember the exact line, because I didn't write it down, but, like, something like, you know, is there ever a good excuse for rape?
I believe I have written down, Claire got her bitch on. Can't see that enough. I love that so much.
Miss Beecham, point for Miss Beecham.
Yeah.
No, that was great. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, he was face there.
Do you think he really would have said that back then, though?
Oh, that he apologized?
No, just the fact that back then, like, they sort of, you know, thought as a tool or as a weapon rape. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he would have said if that really happened in the 18th century. It's interesting to ponder.
Well, I mean, no, I don't think. I think he would have been like, yeah, maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to say.
Well, I don't know that I agree, because I feel like that type of mentality is a real 20th and 21st century mentality, whereas back then they might say, well, yeah, there's a good, you know.
No, well, I mean, like, I think it's probably
punishment
different.
And it's this and it's that. I mean,
no, I think, like, if you're a husband, it's one thing. Like, you're sort of expected, but, like, all right, spoiler alert, sorry. You know, clearly, like, you know, like Jamie thought when Jamie thought that Brianna was raped, and when Jamie thought that she had caught her rapist, i.e. Roger, i.e. not the rapist, you know, effed him up quite good, you know?
So, that was his daughter, and B, we're also talking about a time when beating the shit out of your wife was okay.
Right, but it was different because your wife was your chattel at that point, you know? Like,
yeah, but I still, again, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. I don't think that they all ran around going, yay, rape! But I just don't think it was looked at in the 18th century in certain circumstances the way it is today, black and white. It's never okay. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily know that I agree with that from back then. Go. Continue.
All right. In any case, he did feel like he needed to apologize for whatever reason. And, you know, so they leave their meeting, and I thought that was a great scene. Again, right. Colum's doing very good. I loved that. I forget if this was right before or right after this, but anyway, when Claire's, like, walking around outside, and you see Dougal, like, playing with all the kids.
Yeah.
Like, I totally wouldn't have called that. Like, that to me, like, would you ever have thought, like, Dougal would be all, like, you know, like, cute and cuddly like that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was an interesting layer to his character, but would never have called it.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me at all. I would never.
I mean, I think it was to a certain degree a device for later on in the show, when she finds like to make her think that, you know, Hamish is Dougal's kid, but no, I just never thought like Dougal would be running around with kids, you know, playing kickball or whatever.
Didn't Hamish have more red? Wasn't Hamish's hair more red? Didn't she think for a while it could have been Jamie's? Wasn't the rumor that Hamish might have been Jamie's kid?
Well, that's a spoiler alert, so we're gonna label that. But
sorry. Yes. Do you check the time in the video so that you know to go back in? So it's
no, I have to sit through the whole video and like label every single frickin' thing, which makes it a real pain in the ass.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
But didn't you just say about people? Didn't you just say about people thinking he was Dougal's kid?
Spoiler alert.
You just said it.
No, he is Dougal's kid.
Oh, God. You know, Tom said that to me last night. Isn't he Dougal's kid? And I was like,
Dougal's kid.
Why don't I remember that? I do now. Oh, I gotta reread.
All right. Anywho. So I just thought that was cute. So then Claire goes to dinner.
So, and everybody knows he's Dougal's kid? Except for
I think some people suspect he's Dougal's kid, but I think, but no, you're right in that people...
Is that why everybody got quiet at dinner? Because I was thinking it was because Colm has those legs and can't be out swinging his son around.
I think that had to do, I think it was kind of insulting to just be like clearly she was like, you know, well, he's got to be, you know, Dougal's because, like, you can't sire children, like, because, you know, come on. And the belief or the, you know, everyone thinks it's his kid.
Okay.
And whether or not they think it's really his kid, to, like, be like, yeah, you know, you're right. Now that I think about it, like Colm wouldn't be able to have kids. So, like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, would probably get your head cut off. Or at least in the stocks or whatever.
Right.
Or certainly, you know, you'd miss the ride with Tinker. So, there you go. But that whole dinner scene was just, like, so, like, deliciously uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. I was
it was really just awesome. Like, the whole, I mean, Claire, like, bull in a china shop.
She was like, oh, I'm sorry. Look at the time. She couldn't wait to get out of there. And I couldn't wait for her to get out of there. I was mortified.
I know.
Oh.
No, you had to feel for her.
Okay, so Jamie wasn't there because they had sent him down to the stable.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. Couple of things with that. Jamie, like, Dougal made it sound like, okay, yeah, I sent Jamie to go off to the stable to work with old Alec, because he shouldn't be in these walls, you know, and so I don't really remember in the book if Jamie was there that night. I don't think he was for whatever reason.
I don't remember.
Although he does show up later in the episode within these walls to, you know, like go to hall or whatever, but okay, whatever. Maybe Jamie wasn't there that first time. I don't really remember. But yeah, like way uncomfortable. One of my questions was, I thought everybody kind of knew, like I wrote this down, like I thought spoiler alert from the books. I thought everybody was like knew that like he was called McTavish but it was a fake name, but everyone was like, But here, they were like, Jamie McTavish, who's that? David, what? Oh, it's Jamie. Okay, gotcha. Did you get that?
Yeah, but I want to talk about McTavish, but I think I'm too early. Well, are we moving on now to the stable scene?
We can. Oh, I just want to say one other thing. The other delicious thing was the whole Dougal Colm interaction, that dynamic with like, yeah, I sent him to stables because I didn't think we wanted him between the four walls. And Colm's like, and Dougal's like, but whatever it is that your command is. And Colm's like,
Dougal's
so, like,
all,
the whole, like,
I'm going to just let you pretend that you run this place.
Yeah. Clearly the dynamic with them is like this a little bit. It's definitely like, more. All right, so Claire leaves. It's all good. She goes to, all right, yes, now we'll go to the stables. Okay, again, perfection. The whole scene, Jamie, like training the horses, like Claire spooking the horse, you know, Jamie, like, reacting, like, you know, damn it, like, but then, like, seeing it's Claire and being like, it's all good. Their little conversation, the whole thing, just spot on.
Okay.
Spot on.
I have a few comments.
Yes.
I find that in the show, sometimes Jamie's laughing when I expect him to be, like, angry or annoyed, and sometimes he's angry or annoyed when I expect him to be laughing.
But I love that. Don't you love that?
Well, sure. I don't have a problem with it either way. I'm just saying I'm surprised, and I like that I'm surprised. At one point last night, I said, "Oh, I almost wish I hadn't read the books because, like, I'd like to see this from the perspective of somebody who doesn't know what's going to happen." I do kind of hate the fact that I sit there going, oh yeah, this is going to happen now. I wonder how they're going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Because it's so good. And I keep thinking, you know me, I'm like TV series girl. Like I was saying last week, how like I measure everything against Rome because that to me is the greatest series yet. So I watch everything and love these shows. But when I'm sitting here watching something that I've read and I know what happens, it's so good that I'm wishing to myself I didn't know what happens. That's because I know I'd be like, oh my God, this show is so good, even if I hadn't read the books.
Yeah.
So
no,
anyway,
I mean, it's what the Game of Thrones readers / not readers go through all the time.
Yeah.
You know, is it better to watch it without having read the book or to watch it having read the book?
I will always say read the book. Always, always, always. Doesn't matter what the situation is. I will always say read the book. Okay, so she shows up and she knocks over something and it scares the horse and Jamie's all like, and I like how as a reader, you know that she forgot to do anything with the dressing and stuff. She just
no.
They just sat and ate their bannocks and cheese and like forgot all about. But they didn't say anything about it. But you as the reader, it's sort of like little Easter eggs. Like we know it's there. You know.
I know. I gotta give Sam Heughan props upon props. I will buy you one of these, Sam Heughan, if I ever like meet you, because he is nailing that Jamie like
wise
glass half full attitude. Do you know what I mean? He is nailing it. Like even going back to the whole like back and Randall and thing. When he was like, yeah, like, you know, I ended up in a wagon with chickens and, you know, on my way to Fort William. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It must have been awful. And he's like, yeah, chickens suck. I mean, like the whole, like all of that is
he's
just
totally
like,
pulling it off.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. So Sam, again, if you're watching, come to New Jersey. We will buy you a beer or 7. There you go. Okay. So they have their little conversation.
I thought there was something else I wanted to say about that, about her being at the stables.
And now I have to
out of my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
So move on.
All right. So what happens next? Because that's where
I loved her little commentary with her little back and forth with Rupert.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You ask a fair amount of questions. I love that. I love him. I loved Rupert in the books, and I love Rupert on the show.
Yeah, agreed.
He is just awesome. He's got such a wise-ass little personality. I love him.
I will say the old Alec was not nearly what I thought.
Personable.
He's like way younger than I thought. My old Alec is like something like Alec Guinness in Star Wars, like just like sort of a really old like except even older like I mean, not Burgess Meredith and Rocky, because that's not right. But like, but you know what I mean? Like, just really,
I'm picturing him in
kind of wizened and old, and you know, Alec Guinness is probably a good. He's not that old. Alec Guinness is actually not that old in Star Wars.
Right.
He's really not.
Okay,
like in his 60s, I think.
So,
anyway.
I just was expecting him to be more congenial. I think. What?
Nothing. I'm talking to myself.
Oh.
No. Well, I mean, he's barely in it either. He's like got like one line, whatever. But no, I was just surprised. I was like, oh, old Alec, you're not that old. Okay, whatever. Okay, so moving on. So what? I stopped taking notes at that point. So
I have notes, but I don't know what order. What came next? The beating or Colum and Claire, Dougal and Claire having their little conversation.
All right, hold on. All right, so we meet. Gayless Duncan. I mean, Gayless Duncan.
Shite.
Gayless Duncan.
What do you think about her?
I liked her. I thought she was very like very affable, very like you would you know you'd I was gonna say attracted is not the word. Like Claire, she's okay. I was about to say she's more modern in a sense, but then she is more modern. And I think
Right.
Claire, like subconsciously maybe, like, feels that she's a kindred spirit to a certain
Right.
degree,
Right.
but, like, because she is.
Right.
So, like, and it's funny that I was just going to say that without, like, thinking about the fact that, oh, and this is a spoiler, FYI, that she, is, a kindred spirit and sort of modern in a way.
Okay.
All right, now, all right. Do we need to talk about her being modern anymore?
Because here's my take.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. This whole scene is a spoiler alert.
Okay.
I had an epiphany of sorts
Mm-hmm.
because, first of all, I find Tom's opinions interesting because he's read the first 3 books, so he doesn't know the whole series. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought that she was being very, I want to say, like, chummy with Claire. And I was like, she was from day one. That's why Claire sort of gravitated toward her, because she felt like, okay, the reason we know that Claire gravitated toward Geillis was that Geillis was friendly to her, and she was a friendly face in the crowd of, meanies. All these people don't trust her, aren't being nice to her, but here's Geillis, and she's taking her under her wing, and she's being real nice to her, and they have the whole botany in common and everything. So that's really cool. So then I start thinking about it, because I said to him at one point, we're watching it last night, and Claire, okay, in a future scene that we haven't gotten to yet, when she says to Claire, like, Claire, don't, because Claire's ready to jump in.
Right.
And I said, God, it's like she's going to figure out that Claire's a traveler. And then it was like the skies opened and I went, oh my God, number one, have I ever even considered, a million times you've considered when, Claire finds out that Geillis is a time traveler when she sees the mark on her arm.
Right.
But have I ever thought about, / have we ever been told, when does Geillis figure it out that Claire is a time traveler?
Right. And you think she knows right away.
And last night I went, oh, if she's going to figure this out fast.
That's a really good point. Yeah. No, I bet you she certainly suspects. And that would be very interesting reading, to go back in the book and sort of get a sense of, God, I need to read Outlander again, because it's probably been a couple of years.
Me too. Hi.
I know. Because remember, Dougal later on, like, meets up with Claire in a cave or something, and says something, like, gives a message from Geillis, like, it is possible, but I'm not sure, how, or whatever. So Geillis does figure it out. I just don't know whether she's figured it out, like, at that point or not. But it's an interesting theory to think about. All right.
I don't know that I ever, and here I am, like, my memory is awful. I can't remember if I ever pondered this. For all I know, I might have blogged about it, and I don't even remember. But I just last night went, oh my God, when did Geillis find out about Claire? When did she figure it out? Did she figure it out right away? Did something tell her, show her? So anyway, I found that to be interesting. Okay, so Claire and Geillis are hanging out, chit-chatting about herbs.
Right.
And
so that's that. Then, I guess, we get to Hall.
Hang on. Then we get to Dougal and Claire, I think. Boy, was Claire a wise ass. Oh, nope, you're right. The Hall.
Yeah, because Dougal's the one that's like, yeah, Colin wants to see you.
Yes. Okay. So they're at Hall, and they're going through all this stuff, and Geillis is explaining everything to her. They just said this. They just said that.
I like that it's in Gaelic.
Then comes Leary.
Leary, you slut.
I'm sorry, I have to call her hair or leg hair. I can't help it.
Leary, you ignorant slut.
So, and then Jamie takes the beating, and once again, he had such a smirk.
I know!
That whole scene was just smiling, until he really started getting his ass whooped.
I loved that whole thing, because it was like, Angus clearly is, like, friendly with Jamie. And Angus is like, sorry, dude. Gotta do what I gotta do. And then there was the whole, like, sweep the leg moment of Dougal, like. So it'd be like, Angus would be like, boom, hit Jamie. Then they cut to Dougal being like, sweep the leg. And Angus would look back like, but Sensei, no. And then they cut to Dougal like, sweep leg. And Angus would go, boom.
Holy cow, that was quite a scene. I don't know why it kind of reminded me of Game of Thrones. Like at one point I just said, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Kill my father, prepare to die.
So, yeah. So that scene was a lot of fun, you know, and I like how Angus sort of walked him out. That might happen in the book too, I'm not sure, but like Angus and him were like at the end, like, yeah, come on, bud.
Yeah.
Come on, bud, I'll buy you a beer, you know.
Didn't you think, and I should know his name, the fellow who plays Angus, like his facial expressions were so amazing because what he couldn't say with his mouth, he said like, you know, a million ways with his eyes, like, sorry, dude, I gotta do it, and you know I have to do it, so just deal.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was really good.
But I couldn't remember what happens in the book. Don't they go outside to like a courtyard right afterwards?
Yeah, instead of like a room, like whatever room they went to, like it was, it's a courtyard or whatever. But pretty much the same thing. Like Mrs. Fitz and Claire like sort of take care of him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Leary like shows up like.
And Claire's all, oh, there's someone who wants to speak with you. And I'm like, no! I'm like yelling, don't let her do it!
So, okay. So then we get to the point where it's like, Claire's like, yep, gotta go. Like, time for, you know, the Tinker guy to come get me and take me, you know, to the Stones.
Wait.
What?
She had a conversation with Dougal first. And she should never have been all flip with Dougal. Because she was all, oh, yeah, Dougal, didn't you hear? Colum says I'm going home.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, Cartman, screw you guys. And that is what did her in. Because Dougal was like, no. She could have gotten her rear end out of there. Yep. But instead, girlfriend needs to stay now because Dougal then went back to Colum and we didn't see it. But here's what I have to say. At this point, I'm saying to myself, why isn't she saying to Dougal, saying to Colum, if I were a spy, why would I want to get out of here so bad? If I were a spy, I'd be all friendly and sweet and wanting to stay and ingratiating myself with all of you. And instead, I'm trying to get the heck out of Dodge.
Right. No, it's totally true. But they don't think of it that way. And then there'd be no show.
Right.
So, okay, so I don't know. I don't think this Tinker stuff happens in the book, but I could be totally wrong. And given that I've read the book 4 times, you probably would think I would remember, but whatever. Okay, so she's about to get in the wagon.
Oh, did you feel so bad for her?
Well, at this point, she's
all
like
dressed up in her fur.
I know.
She's got her.
And Mrs. Fitz is all like, "Oh, lassie, you know, Mrs. Fitz is on board with Claire now. On board with her."
I know Mrs. Fitz feels bad.
Yeah.
And there she is. She's all dressed up and she's walking around all that horse dung. It was. I said to Tom, this is 10 times worse than the Devon Horse Show.
I know.
It's so disgusting.
So she gets, you know, like, Colin wants to see you, and she's like, he does. Okay.
She knew.
And then she's like to the Tinker guy, like, don't go anywhere. Do not effing move.
At that point, I wanted to be like, run! Total Chris Rock, just run!
No, it's like Eddie Murphy, like, you know, go out. Too bad we can't stay.
Get the chandelier, you got the kids playing in the yard. Too bad we can't stay.
Yeah, I know. Claire, like, seriously, like, you were about to get in the wagon. Don't listen to Colin. Be like, Colin wants to talk to me. I'll write him a letter.
Could you just tell him that I said thanks for everything, bye? Okay, I'm going to have this guy drive me around front.
So she goes in, she sees the surgery, and it's all through the episode. We haven't really talked about this, but I love how they, like, interspersed it with Frank stuff.
God, I know.
And him looking for her, finding the car with the Reverend. Ooh. But anyway, so, you know, Colum's like, here's the surgery. This is going to be your job now because I ain't letting you go, yo. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, you're staying here.
She's all like, oh, is that the table that I was just sitting in last week? I believe they were going there. I was like, they are going there again.
So then you and I like didn't really like you thought that she got locked in. I don't think she got locked in. I think he just closed the door and the latch on her side like went, boom, like she had to fall. Like it was more like figurative than
I
literal.
Guess. It just made you feel like they were like, you're not going anywhere. Bam.
Yeah.
But I really liked how she was kind of torn because she was like, not that she didn't want to go home, but she was like, ooh, this stuff's really cool. Like, oh yeah, I gotta go home.
So that's it. And then it ends and we don't know what's going to happen or how Claire is going to get herself out of this. What I was thinking is like, okay. At the worst, she's here another month. Okay. But the Tinker comes every month. So like, she just has to hold on for another month. She has to convince Colm that somehow she is not a spy and get out after a month.
Right.
That's,
I don't think I'm thinking though, where are you getting the after a month? Like, she knows how often he comes, therefore she's got to work her magic?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking doom and gloom. She is here to stay.
Now, I'm like, at the very, very least, you've got, like, this Tinker dude is going to be here next month. A month from now. So, okay, it sucks that you're going to be away for a month. And you have to, like, figure out how to, like, live in this world for another month. But, like, like, figure it out, hang on, and...
Don't you think you'd go to Jamie and be like, you like me, can you help me escape?
You might, or you might not.
But then again, like you said, then we won't have a show.
Right. So that's it, you guys. So, I don't know. I didn't even look to see if we had any questions from last week.
Ooh.
But I don't think we did we?
I didn't even push that.
Here, you know what? Let me...
Was that on Facebook or Twitter?
Well, no, I was going to say, I'm going to go into the My Outlander Purgatory comments from last week. And we really have to wrap this up soon. Oh, I didn't even see that you, you posted a really funny thing on here. Hang on.
That's what I try to do on the blog.
As I do from time to time.
The poor blog.
The
blog started it all, and yet the blog, I really have to make sure I give the blog love, because it's just so easy to Facebook and Twitter. And
I know, right? Okay, wait. Let me say here.
All I have to type in is an M, and myoutlanderpurgatory.com pops up.
All right, wait.
Often. Boy, do I need
This is really more like stuff about what we talked about, rather than like new questions. So, the mildly amused recap was hilarious.
Uh-oh.
What?
We missed.
Right. Yeah, this is all really just like impressions about the last video. So,
love all of your comments on the blog.
Keep commenting on the blog, keep commenting on Twitter, comment on the YouTube channel.
Right, but to keep the discussion going, comment on the blog under the video, because that is awesome. Like, that is so much fun, and it's so much fun to see everybody's opinion, to hear everybody's opinions, and see what everybody has to say about it.
I'm trying to think. I have my little list here.
We'd love it. And can I just say, if anybody has emailed me or posted, I had all this email last week that I went through, and so much of it, I hate to say, I said this when I first started reading Moby. I started reading Written in My Own Heart's Blood, which I'm maybe 50% through. All of this Outlander Star stuff put a hold on that. And I had so much email, and I think most of it is just comments from My Outlander Purgatory. Mm-hmm. But if anybody has emailed me about anything and I haven't gotten back to you, please forgive me, because I must have had 250 sitting there. So forgive me. I will totally get back to you. And if I haven't, if it's really important, just email me again and put lots of exclamation points in the subject.
Just be like, Carol!
Yeah, put "this is not a spoiler."
Oh my God. All right. So that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else. It was again, I can't stress enough. Awesome episode. Kudos to all involved. Listen to Ron Moore's podcast because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I have to do that.
You totally need to do it. I told you, I'm not finished with the first one yet. I'm probably halfway through. I wish there was, I haven't figured out a way to like download it to like iTunes or something so that I can like every time I stop it because I'm, have arrived wherever I am, I have to like figure out where I was the last time and restart it again because it doesn't save like where I already am.
Right.
So I think I have 22 minutes left of it.
How long is your ride to work?
Like 15 minutes. But I listen to it like when I'm getting ready for work too. So that's like another 20 minutes.
It's so hard for me. I have to devote time to stuff like that. It's like reading. It's like reading Moby. I have to have time that I put aside because I can't do it when there's other stuff going on. And with that, I've always got a kid in the car wanting to hear Disney. You know what I mean? The Disney Channel or something. It's very hard for me. So I really, but I'm sorry. Did I mention school starts in like 2 weeks?
You guys, we're taking our oldest nephew to college on Friday. Oh my God. I'm not even his parent and I'm freaking out. So
I'm
like
sad.
all of you who are taking kids to college this week or next week, especially your first one, we totally feel for you.
We totally feel for you.
We totally feel for you because
and he's only going an hour away.
Yeah, he's going an hour away. It's third sister Jill's oldest kid, and he's our oldest nephew. He's my godson, and I am freaking the F out. So, up your kilt to all you moms and dads of like first year college students that you're like taking out because it's not easy.
We get it.
Okay. So
and
we will
all
be
of
back
you who have kids in elementary school that are going back next week, woohoo!
So we will see you next week. We will see you next week. Anything else? I'm still reading Moby. I'm just starting part 7 now. I just started part 7.
Shannon emailed me today. She's at 91%, I think.
I'm at like 76, 77%.
I am at 50%, and I just want to reiterate the fact that I am taking my time about it. Because you know what? I love having stuff to blog about that's
new. You need
new.
to speed it up a little bit because we need to talk about some stuff, but it's all good.
What?
I said you need to speed it up a little because we need to talk about some stuff.
Off camera?
No, on camera. Once you've actually read like more than a page.
Oh, I thought you meant right now.
No.
All right, well, I need to blog about some stuff too.
All right, right now we need to go because I need to like figure out, what's going on later today. Okay, guys, so we will see you next week for episode 3. We're psyched. It's all good. See us on the blog, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram. We are there, baby.
My Outland of Purgatory.
MyIslandofPurgatory.com. We will see you later.